Everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well today. So we come to our word from the Word. And today that word is gullible. Gullible. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the word gullible is actually not in the dictionary. Yeah, go look it up and let me know what you find out. But as we get to Genesis chapter 25 today, you will see that Abraham has passed away. We will see a family line of Ishmael, and we will see a family line, even a family line of Abraham, but then Ishmael and of Isaac. And specifically, we'll focus on Isaac's children, his twins that were born. Now, his twins, from the time they were in the womb, there seems to be an issue. And God tells Rebekah, says, well, these are two nations that are fighting against each other. And when they come out, when they're old, then you're going to see that the older one is going to serve the younger. So Esau is born first, and Jacob is holding on to his heel as they come out. And so, he's just that close to being the oldest one, but yet you see that he's going to probably be an ankle biter for a while. There's deception and lies, and that word gullible, as we'll see it today, that's used throughout and always associated with Jacob, especially throughout his life and even the lives of his children. Deception seems to follow him. But here's the thing. I can't help but see in this picture today that we're going to look at the same way that Satan tricks us and we are so gullible to believe his lies, in the same way that we're going to see Esau be gullible today. So Genesis chapter 25, verses 27 through 34 today. So the boys grew, and Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a mild man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Jacob, please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. Therefore his name was called Edom, which literally means red. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright as of this day. And Esau said, look, I'm about to die, so what is this birthright to me? Then Jacob said, swear to me as of this day. So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. Then he ate and drank, arose, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. It's so many things that we can see here in this passage. One, Isaac and Rebekah played favorites. And that should be, just in the background, a word of warning to all of us parents, grandparents, that we have to be careful about having favorites. We see this play out in later passages as well. But that's one thing, just kind of going on in the background. But here you have these two different personalities. Esau, the one that seems to, kind of just fly by the seat of his pants, and Jacob seems to be the one that kind of sits back a little bit and is more, I'll say, skillful in manipulation. I told you, deception is what's going to follow him all of his days. Now, with that, I kind of joke and I guess I kind of laugh a little bit, really, just thinking about Esau. And I wonder, because he's getting home, right? He's coming back where Jacob has fixed this stew, apparently. And so you would assume, what is this, the only food on earth that you're willing to sell your birthright for? You're willing to sell a double portion of your inheritance for a bowl of soup? That must have been some really good soup, right? Some really good stew. I love the Christian Standard Version says he likes that red stuff. He says, oh, give me some of that red stuff. I wonder if it's just something with that red, him being redheaded and hairy, and now he's looking at the stew and said, I want some of that red soup. But regardless, here's the thing. He comes at a moment that he is listening to the flesh so much. I'm hungry. I've got to have something, probably, more than likely, over-exaggerating to the point where, I just feel like I'm about to die. Because I think in the background, as he says, well, this birthright's not doing me any good if I'm dead. I think it was kind of the point of, look, that's not going to be mine for a long time, and I'm liable to be dead before I ever get it. So let me enjoy the stew today. And it says that Esau despised his birthright. In the same way, I believe that we fall victim to the lies of Satan, right? Where he kind of dangles something out there for us as well. That he says, he says, look, well, you want some gratification, you need it now. And he'll even go as far as to say, you deserve it now. So here, just don't worry about that inheritance that you have waiting for you. Don't worry about the things that you're trying to store up in heaven. Don't worry about those things that God has promised you and those blessings that he said will come. Because, as Satan will tell us, God doesn't really care about you. God's not really going to give you that. God's not really going to bless you in that way. God doesn't do this. And he goes on down the line. And you say, well, no, I'll never believe that lie. Sure we will, because we do it all the time. Every time we choose sin, we are choosing to be gullible to the lies of Satan rather than believe in the truths of God. Esau, rather than waiting until the appointed time for him to receive his inheritance, he instead decides that he is going to sell that double portion to his brother, trade it, really, for a bowl of stew so he can have gratification and satisfaction now. But the satisfaction was only temporary. He was going to be hungry again. And isn't that what we do? We fall victim and we are gullible to the things of Satan for something that will satisfy now, when God has already promised salvation and God has already promised eternal satisfaction. I think about the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman at the well, and Jesus says, well, whoever drinks of me, it's a spring of eternal life, right? He will never thirst again. And that's the key. We keep going after all these things that satisfy for the moment. And God alone is the one that offers, through Jesus Christ, eternal satisfaction. And you say, well, wait a minute, I don't have that satisfaction and that gratification here on earth. That's because this is not our home. Our home is in heaven. Don't despise the timing of God. Don't despise the inheritance of God. And don't despise the blessings of God. We should never do it. But every time we believe a lie of Satan, it's like we're saying, God, you know what? I'd rather have this bowl of stew than wait for you. Something for us all to think about today. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.